from an affiliate perspective, most of the affiliates we're working with, they have a limited amount of traffic, which they own, whether it's coming from SEO placements, a newsletter, just a loyal audience, whatever it may be. That traffic is finite. And in order for them to make money, they need to capitalize on conversion. There is no better way to capitalize on conversion that we see, like as a general rule, than deals and promo codes. The simple reason for that is they expire. That's really the benefit. So, and if you're trying to get a customer, if I say, Kevin, purchase this right now, I got to start selling you. I got to start telling you, this is what this product does and all that. If I just tell you, hey, Kevin, this price is going to be 50% more tomorrow, all of a sudden you're going to start asking me what this product does.
You are listening to Power Marketing with Kevin Lee. Kevin and his agency Did It have helped thousands of businesses win through superior marketing, as have his books, articles, speaking engagements, and the E-Marketing Association Power Marketing podcasts. Here's Kevin.
David Katz is one of the founders of Archer Affiliates, which is a platform that sort of services both FBA merchants and brands, as well as the influencer and affiliate ecosystem. So we always like to start with the origin story. So David, what was it that was like the catalyst for you to say, I got to do this. I got to go ahead and build this?
For sure, Kevin. It's a great story. Firstly, appreciate you having me on, giving me the opportunity. Super excited to get to chat. I guess it goes back to my first venture into the business world. So after high school, I never went to college. After high school, I was supposed to take a gap year in Israel. And before taking that gap year, I was looking for kind of a quick job, something simple, something, I could just kind of get my feet wet. There was a little bit of a time in between before that gap year would have started. And I ended up working at my friend's Amazon marketing agency. And this is before the time where Amazon marketing agencies were a dime a dozen. This is, I would say early 2018, 2017. Spent some time there, kind of got into the groove of things. The marketing agency grew. My knowledge of Amazon grew. We grew some pretty awesome brands. During that time, COVID obviously happened, which wasn't the greatest thing in general, but definitely helped the Amazon FBA and e-com industry quite immensely during that time. So saw a lot of success there. Transitioned a year and a half or 2 years, it was probably closer to a year and a half after COVID, to a pretty large beauty brand in the hair care space. And what had happened was, where I think Archer and the initial inception of Archer came was, one day we're doing a normal Amazon sales. We're probably doing about 10 million annually. So pretty decent size brand on Amazon, nothing too crazy. And one day we're seeing 10, 15x sales in the morning, and we're on the Eastern time zone. And as many of the Amazon merchants know, you see the sales in the Pacific time zone. So when it's 10 a.m., 11 a.m., and you're seeing double, triple, maybe even your normal sales velocity, either something is really, really good or something's really, really bad. There might be like a pricing error and you just don't know. Sure enough, we were all super confused. And after a little while, we kind of got to the bottom of what would happen, which was awesome. Marissa Tomei, it was right after Spider-Man had been launched and came out, the most recent Spider-Man, or I think it was even 2 Spider-Mans ago. Marissa Tomei, who was Aunt May in Spider-Man, she had done a video with Vogue where she featured her full beauty routine. One of the products she happened to have featured was one of our hair products. Now, that product went absolutely viral. It was like awesome chaos. The product got picked up by all the beauty publications, a bunch of other influencers, got featured across mass media really exceptionally. And from there, we kind of internally in that brand identified that, all right, we really got something here. It was kind of like an innovative, unique, quirky, eye-catching product. At the time, it wasn't even the top product for the brand. And from there, we really pivoted and invested a lot of our efforts, time, budget, marketing into PR, really understanding off Amazon traffic, a lot of deal and coupon sites. And I'm sure we'll get into all these different aspects of what external traffic and specifically affiliate and partnerships look like for Amazon sellers. But that's slowly kind of where the shift in focus during that time within that brand became. And ultimately, during that time, while we were spending all this money in PR and influencer marketing and all of that, I just simply recognized that the space for specifically Amazon sellers and affiliates was totally fragmented and totally disconnected at best. I mean, it just didn't, the space didn't even exist. What I mean by that is there's the world of Amazon associates, which is Amazon affiliate marketers. So people who send traffic to Amazon, it can be influencers, media publishers, deal sites, people who have audiences that look to them for Amazon product recommendations, driving a massive amount of GMV on Amazon. But as an Amazon seller, number one, we had no idea of who these people exactly were specifically driving traffic to our listing. And number two, most importantly, is really a clear process of how to connect with them, build a relationship with them, and ultimately generate more sales from them. And that's where the idea and inception of Archer came. We kind of built just simply a place and a platform for the brand to simply connect with outside marketers, to create attribution links and see the brand catalog, be informed of different promotions, and slowly but surely that kind of escalated in scale. And here we are today. We now Archer Affiliates works with over 2,500 Amazon merchants, featuring over 100,000 products, about 3,000 different publishers and influencers and affiliates, generating millions of dollars in Amazon sales in just our second year of operations.
Cool. Well, congrats. So a lot of folks don't understand the layers of plumbing within the Amazon ecosystem. So they're probably aware of the Amazon Associates program because that's been around a long time. What they may not be aware of is the attribution links, Amazon attribution links, and the brand referral discount. So I'd love for you to clarify for folks who may not be aware of that on either side, the publisher side or the brand side, why that's a game changer, right? And
Sure.
why that really empowered you guys to build what you've built.
Sure. Yeah, so to lay the framework, there's obviously kind of like you said, the Amazon Associates program, which is Amazon's legacy affiliate program. They incentivize publishers to generate traffic from off Amazon to Amazon, and the average commission rates we see that they pay out is 3 to 5%. And again, those commission rates are coming directly from Amazon. What we've done is create a marketplace where sellers and brands can independently fund these affiliate commissions directly from their own wallets. Now, how we've done that, kind of what you touched on, Kevin, is the ability to use Amazon attribution links. So back, I'm going to say it was like 2020, 2021 time is when Amazon released a tool called Amazon Attribution. Amazon Attribution is part of the Amazon advertising suite for Amazon sellers, vendor sellers, and Seller Central sellers, where sellers can track off Amazon conversion that happens on Amazon, all through linking tags and UTM tags, similar to how Associates works. It's essentially the same as Associates in terms of the tool itself, just designed for sellers. So if a seller is directing traffic from, let's just say, email marketing, paid media, Google Ads, Facebook, any of that, they can implement one of these links, meaning sending the traffic instead of just using a standard Amazon link and sending the traffic directly to Amazon. They can use one of these attribution links, and Amazon will actually tell them, here's how many clicks you're driving, here's how many add to carts happened on those purchases, and ultimately here's how many conversions and sales happened on those purchases. Now, the cool part about that program is there's a separate program at Amazon called the brand referral bonus, which you touched on. Brand referral bonus was designed for Amazon sellers to incentivize Amazon sellers to start driving and investing in traffic and in building Amazon sales from off Amazon traffic. So number one, you have the attribution tool, which is designed to track the traffic. And then number two, what the brand referral bonus is actually Amazon offering and paying brands in the form of referral fee credits on future orders for a percentage of any GMV which they drive from off Amazon. So the average rate that Amazon pays is about 10%. So what that means on average, if you're a brand or a seller on Amazon, you drive $100,000 of GMV to your listing, Amazon will actually reimburse you. Again, it comes in the form of those referral fee credits, $10,000, which is massive. It's just a huge. I mean, we have sellers who are operating at smaller margins than 10% and doing it on massive scale. So the opportunity to have the ability to get 10% back from Amazon is insane. And furthermore, kind of at the same time, you leverage that with a program like Archer, where there's the element of, growing your brand awareness and all of that, which is not something we focus on, but just, having content out there and building your brand story out there is massively important. I think is a super exciting opportunity for Amazon sellers, especially at a time when margins are so thin and further sellers are further and further getting squeezed. 10% is huge.
Absolutely. Another thing that not everybody realizes, and it sort of sets the table for yet another reason to consider doing something along the lines of what you guys are working on, is that, Amazon internal visibility has a lot to do with sales velocity, right? And so the extent to which you increase sales velocity and are sort of helping yourself, right, sell stuff through your partnerships, you're actually going to end up potentially having higher visibility within, I guess, the A9 powered internal search, right, within Amazon. So then that sort of just comes, that's like gravy, right? That just comes along for the ride. So, but I don't know the answer, and maybe you do. Like, to what extent does that end up being a bonus? Is that just sort of like a little bit of gravy, or can it sometimes end up being material where you see that once people hit the gas using Archer affiliates and other methodologies, potentially also just driving traffic from, let's say, their Shopify store with a link to, or email marketing to a link to their own products? Does that end up with sort of added incremental sales that you can say, wow, those were sort of over and above what I got as a result of driving my own sales, basically.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, to kind of summarize what you're saying, Amazon's a momentum game, right?
Exactly.
So the more sales you show Amazon, the more they want to display your product in front of potential customers. Ultimately, Amazon's a conversion feeder, which is a lot of times why the cheapest priced items on Amazon do best. It's just those convert best in general. So app that fundamentally unit sales velocity super important on Amazon, specifically when it comes to increasing organic rank and general sales velocity across organic sales. Now, with Amazon attribution and external traffic, Amazon themselves have said that external traffic is weighted really strongly when it comes to increasing organic ranking, which is massive. Amazon doesn't say things like that, and they early in the days of attribution, they actually put it out in like one of their literature. It's like totally not something that they generally talk about or say, and it kind of makes sense. It's like when a product is converting from off Amazon traffic, you want to show it to more people on Amazon. It's if it works for off Amazon traffic, it most probably will work for when people are in market for that specific product, searching very relevant terms, and that's kind of the idea. To the tune that we have, or to answer your question directly, we have a lot of sellers where it's definitely not just the gravy, it's the meat, it's the full freaking meal. We have sellers offering commissions as high as 70, 80% consistently. A lot of times sellers will utilize such a method on product launches. So when you're launching a product, you don't have a lot of reviews. Your general conversion will be pretty low because you don't have a lot of reviews. We always encourage them to launch at much lower price points than they're able to, maybe maintain in the long term, but that's a separate conversation. The focus for them is really just driving high converting traffic at scale. And there's very few ways that I know to do it as efficiently as our platform. Again, it's all relative. Ultimately, a product needs to be good. It needs to be, number one, obviously still able to convert. Number two, you have to gain interest from publishers. Not every product is just interesting for them. But ultimately, if those two things are a fit and those two things are there, publishers sellers, we work with sellers who are setting commissions as high as 80, 90%. And I can assure you, even with the 10% brand referral bonus, the focus there is not profitability.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, clearly, one can decide over time, like how much additional momentum, I guess, one wants to generate, right? Especially for things like launches. It sounds like from what you're saying that there's strategic value to taking a margin hit in the short term potentially in order to just gain that momentum, and then down you can tweak the numbers down the road, right? And try to find out how deep of a sort of additional incremental commission to the publishers is going to be required for them to continue to be excited, right? In comparison to the other offers they have available, and you'll just have to sort of play with it like all the other KPIs you play with when you're selling on Amazon.
Yep. That's kind of the game.
Right, right. So the other thing people may not be aware of is that, maybe it's clear from the way you described it, but I think it's worth reiterating that, what you guys pay out via your relationship with the influencer or the publisher is accretive to the fact that they may be an associate as well, right? So Amazon's going to pay them the associate's commission via that program, and then they're going to get paid independently through you guys. So they've actually got checks coming from two different directions at the same time.
Yeah, and I think the checks is obviously the core of what we do, and the increased commission rates is a win for everybody. We're just bringing more revenue across the board. But I think even more fundamentally to that, there's a lot of instances where working direct with sellers from the affiliate perspective is so necessary, specifically when it comes to like a lot of deal and coupon sites, where they need to know what the deal and promo schedules of a particular brand are, or even the ability for an affiliate to directly request a promotion from a particular brand. That never existed in the Amazon ecosystem, and it's something that we're seeing a whole lot of. The other the other crazy thing is just in the influencer space. We work with some pretty large influencers who have really loyal, exciting followings, eager to try new products. And when an influencer themselves want to try a new product and potentially promote it to their audience, historically, they would have to purchase that item. Number one, find items that are interesting. And number two, purchase it, source it, potentially sometimes buy multiple units of that product, which can sometimes be super expensive. And then obviously use those products to create content with. And I think a program like ours, where we're enabling that communication, that relationship, facilitating those relationships, it solves a lot of those hurdles for sure for publishers, meaning in terms of just the media materials, marketing materials, video assets, promo codes, samples, all these types of things. And then obviously the commission rate. And if you're a brand, why would you want any hurdles in front of a potential person who might promote your product? That doesn't make any sense. It's pretty massive what just a seamless basic program that solves those things has been able to do.
Right, absolutely. Well, that brings us into promo codes, which you mentioned a couple of times. And Amazon's got a variety of flavors of those, right? Including the ability to generate a bunch of single-use promo codes, right? But they have some challenges associated with them, like they expire, and so you sort of have sort of an operations and logistics element to that. So I'd love to hear some best practices, if there are any, as it relates to use of promo codes of different types, either the ones that are single use, which of course, you know, let everybody know beyond a shadow of a doubt, like who gave that promo code away, right? And then the potential of using other types of promo codes where there might be, I guess, what we call leakage, right? Where the promo code leaks out into the general internet, and therefore, it's more difficult to tie things back and attribute. And so how should the FBA merchants think about the different types of promo codes and when to use them, and how does that end up dovetailing into the Archer ecosystem?
That's a good question. Fundamentally, we break it down into three areas of promos. So firstly, you have your promo code, which like you kind of touched on, even in and of itself, there's three different types of promo codes. You have the social media promo code, a deal promo code, and then a single use promo code. But we just categorize those into one area. We actually don't work with single use promo codes, simply for the reason that if from a publisher's perspective, you need a promo code to work in mass, or you kill your conversion rate. So we only work with those group promo codes. But that's kind of the first area of discounts, let's just call it. The second would be on-page coupons. The third would be what we just call deals, which is lightning deals, top deals, prime day deals, all that type of stuff. and they're massive. They're a huge opportunity. I mean, fundamentally, from an affiliate perspective, most of the affiliates we're working with, they have a limited amount of traffic which they own, whether it's coming from SEO placements, a newsletter, just a loyal audience, whatever it may be. That traffic is finite, and in order for them to make money, they need to capitalize on conversion. There is no better way to capitalize on conversion that we see, like as a general rule, than deals and promo codes. The simple reason for that is they expire. That's really the benefit. So, and if you're trying to get a customer, if I say, Kevin, purchase this right now, I got to start selling you. I got to start telling you, hey, this is what this product does and all that. If I just tell you, hey, Kevin, this price is going to be 50% more tomorrow, all of a sudden you're going to start asking me what this product does. I mean, it's just fundamental. So from a publisher perspective, it's it's a huge lift. It makes a big deal. It makes a big difference. And from a brand's perspective, when the focus is unit velocity and sales, it's a no-brainer. It's we have consistently deal and coupon websites driving consistently. This is not like a fluke, upwards of 15% commissions, which is insanity. You don't even see that on search term related traffic. You don't even see such high conversion rates. And to show, the back end of Amazon that you have a 15% conversion rate on traffic and you can run deals and promos a few times a month, it's massive. And that's what a lot of the bigger brands do. I would say the two use cases that we see with a lot of deals is, number one, the product launch category. When brands launch a product, I think lean into a lot of those really aggressive discounted pricing. Again, profitability not a focus. Second would be a lot of the larger brands we work with build this into their monthly strategy, where they have like a short period during each month where they're running aggressive deals and promotions just to boost that sales velocity and sales momentum, and then kind of make that profit back on the increased organic rank. And that's a consistent flow. If you look at their pricing charts, both like Keepa or Camel, you'll see that consistent flow of, like, at the same time every month, that price just dipping. And the third big area I think is super relevant, which is temple seasonal events such as Prime Day, which is upcoming, and Black Friday, which is upcoming, which is massive. I think if you're a brand, you almost have to offer a promotion. It's what customers are looking for. It's a conversation in of itself in terms of just how a lot of Amazon customers are starting their searches from a lot of the publishers and deal sites on Prime Day, specifically looking for deals. And if your product is not getting some sort of deal on Prime Day or Black Friday, you're just missing out on all that traffic. You're missing out on all those potential customers, and it's kind of like, at this point, a must almost to have pretty aggressive promotions in some of those days.
Right, absolutely. Well, obviously, there are a lot of industry categories selling on Amazon at the moment. Some have, thin margins, some have decent margins, and some have pretty aggressive margins, right? And so there, some of the aggressive margin categories are things like cosmetics or, and beauty products in general. And then there are others that are more thin, like electronics and such. So do you find that there are categories that you find that Archer Affiliates is a particularly good category for, either because it's more of an impulse purchase, right? And so all of the mechanisms that you talk about are like, oh yeah, I can convince a person to buy that in no time. Is that the driver? Is it a combination of the profitability and being an impulse purchase? Does it also work in categories where it's more of a considered purchase, or does it, are there certain categories where it's like a no-brainer, and other categories we have to be a little more sophisticated and strategic in the way
It's a good question. I would say there's pros and cons from almost every angle. So in general, where our focus is high-priced items, specifically in home and kitchen, electronics, all of that. I think when in those areas, you have a few things. Number one, higher priced items tend to make affiliates more money, which means they're just willing to invest more and feature it more and prioritize the content that features it. So, a $500 or $1,000 mattress, even if it's a 10% or less commission, which is pretty low for a network, that's a lot more money than a 20% commission on a $20, $30 product. So just kind of more interesting for affiliates. That's number one. Second is I would say there's three categories of products, three general categories of products where we see a lot of success. Number one is um, products that do have a lot of consideration. We tend to see consumers a lot of times look for information from other publishers, from product review sites, and shop around a bit, which does benefit affiliates because affiliates are able to provide a lot of that non-biased information that a brand that can't necessarily or a customer can't necessarily find on Amazon directly from a brand. The second would be innovative products. That kind of ties into the third, which is spontaneous, like you kind of said, products that have that spontaneous purchase, which would also be deals, which we spoke about. Innovative products kind of have that like cool, trendy element to it. So would drive a spontaneous purchase. We see a lot of seasonal items, which also have that spontaneous element to it. And then like stuff that just are universal, don't have necessarily a specific niche customer base. I would say like home and kitchen, like a set of kitchen knives. Whether you're a 20-year-old in your dorm or a 40-year-old mom, in a suburban house, everybody can use a set of kitchen knives kind of. So, it's or stuff like that. So there's certain products that are just have that universality estimate, universality to them that just make it, I think, super appealing to affiliates to promote.
Right, for sure. Was there anything we should have covered, but we didn't, that you think people should know as they start to think about ways in which they can just in general use, tracking and attribution links and or the brand referral ecosystem to better drive sales as a FBA merchant?
Yeah, I mean, I think when every new technology kind of starts to come up to the horizon, there's always a huge advantage for the medium and small size brands. And a brief time period before those technologies get implemented by the larger conglomerates and enterprise brands, and all the market share gets snatched up. And I think we're kind of in the middle of that stage when it comes to specifically focusing on off Amazon traffic, affiliate marketing to Amazon, all of that. But I don't think it's going to last forever. Right now, it's a huge opportunity. Most of the brands we're seeing that implement pretty basic strategies are seeing pretty significant returns. And I think that probably continues for another 6 months to a year, but I don't think it's going to last forever. So, for any brand not at least investing and trying with some of the strategies we discussed, I think is making a mistake. And get in before it's too late, I would say.
Absolutely. Well, a lot of stuff for folks to think about there. If people are watching from sort of the publishing side or the influencer side, and obviously they have a limited amount of bandwidth to associate to testing something like this, right? Should they sort of stay within their lane from a category perspective? Because obviously a kitchen person, the knives would be a no-brainer, right? But the kitchen person saying, "Oh, and I love this mattress,"
Always,
it's
yeah.
a little bit odd, right, for the kitchen person to be pitching a mattress. But should they go outside their category lane a little bit?
Absolutely not. No, you always got to stay within your audience. I think it comes down to the ultimate decider of number one, if your audience is going to be interested in the long term. That's a separate conversation, which we don't specialize in. But I mean, just featuring products that they're not interested in is probably going to have a negative impact on that. But more importantly, just directly what we're focused on is the number one and most important thing is conversion. And if you're promoting products that just are not a fit for your audience, there's going to be zero conversion, and it won't matter how high that commission is. It won't matter how good that promotion is. There's just no interest. So absolutely not. A 3% commission on a product that has conversion is way better than a 50% conversion, 50% commission on a product that doesn't have any conversion. So would definitely stay in your lane. That being said, I think with a program like ours, especially as we grow, we cover every product category on Amazon, especially the big categories: kitchen, home, pet, automotive, everything. So there's probably something in there for you, and we can probably work together.
Cool, cool. Well, thanks so much for joining me, David. I look forward to watching the continued evolution of your platform and the ecosystem at large.
Amazing. Thanks for having me on, Kevin.
Kevin Lee's Power Marketing is available on all your favorite podcast networks. Kevin loves helping businesses excel at marketing. Having marketing challenges? Just like Santa in the Miracle on 34th Street, if Kevin can't help you, he'll know someone who can. Find him on LinkedIn, subscribe, or follow.